Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastian Envy Strong Style Cinephile, and we are second day after finding out that Batgirl was going to be canceled. Yes, the Leslie Grace starring Batgirl is gone, dead. It has been canceled from release by the new head of Warner Brothers, the new regime that has come in. And yeah, there's lots of reactions to it and thoughts on it. I've been checking around the internet to some various message boards that I frequent, and then checking out some podcasts, just to kind of see just what other people are thinking and saying, just checking on some that are more established, if you will, some more maybe folks with more insider sources to kind of see what they're saying about kind of what led to this decision. So let's geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, one thing I was looking up yesterday to kind of see if there's any reaction from Leslie Grace or the filmmakers, anybody like that, anybody that worked on the film. And apparently, according to one tweet, the directors were at a wedding. One of the directors was getting married, the other one was there, they're friends, support, whatever. But that's when they found out that the movie was going to be canceled on what was supposed to be a nice, joyous day. Like, they get crap from above rain down on them with the cancellation of Batgirl. And there's a statement put out by the directors that said, "We are saddened and shocked by the news. We still can't believe it. As directors, it is critical that our work be shown to audiences. And while the film was far from finished, we wish that fans all over the world would have had the opportunity to see and embrace the final film themselves. Our amazing cast and crew did a tremendous job and worked so hard to bring Batgirl to life. We are forever grateful to have been part of that team. It was a dream to work with such fantastic actors like Michael Keaton, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser, Jacob Scipio, Corey Johnson, Rebecca Front, and especially the great Leslie Grace, who portrayed Batgirl with so much passion, dedication, and humanity. In any case, as huge fans of Batman since we were little kids, it was a privilege and honor to have been a part of the DCEU, even if it was for a brief moment. Batgirl for life." So yeah, that goes back to kind of what I was saying yesterday in the fact that just all that work that goes into making a film and to just have it just amount to basically nothing. To have it amount to nothing is gotta be just a gut punch. And it seems like just the big thing about this is to kind of, because Warner did put out a statement basically telling people not to blame Leslie Grace, that it wasn't her fault that this movie was getting canceled, even though lots of people had seen it. I knew it was going to happen, and I had seen it for myself on comments, on tweets, stuff like that, the whole woke this and blah, 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 just blaming her for this film's failure, which is stupid to begin with, and that's just, like I said, a whole other thing. But WB put out a statement that absolved Leslie Grace from any sort of blame in this, basically saying that it was just right place, wrong time, or wrong place, wrong time for Leslie Grace and this film, that it was just caught between two regimes. One regime that was looked at very negatively for some of the decisions that they made, the whole day and date release type of thing, the whole putting the whole slate of DC films, an entire year slate of DC films on HBO Max to kind of push the subscribers and stuff like that, kind of piss people off because it was just breaking agreements, in some cases contracts that they had to pay out money for, because when the movies go into theaters, people get a cut of, certain cuts of the film and the profits and stuff like that. So to just cut out the theater part, you're cutting out people making some money in some spots. So that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. So it was like companies and management and agents and talent that were kind of rubbed the wrong way by the old regime. Now this new regime is coming in. They're basically trying to blame any sort of issues on the old regime and kind of start things different. Just taking a 180 from what has come before. And I understand that, but it's like, if you're worried about putting out these olive branches, if you will, to these people that were hurt, marred, whatever, by the previous regime, and you're doing this, it's kind of like, it sets a bad example going forth with talent and with their desire to work with you in the future. And then you got to have like directors and filmmakers kind of on edge, worrying about if their project's going to get canceled that they've already done. If in a project in the future, once you start working on it, is it going to get canceled? It creates this uncertainty on some levels. Kind of makes you wonder what's going to happen to the Blue Beetle movie, which was originally slated to be also for HBO Max, but then they said it's going to be like a theatrical release. Is that going to get canceled? There's already a hashtag that says release Batgirl. I've tweeted it myself, but we know that it's probably not going to happen because what they're looking at doing is getting a tax write-off for both Batgirl and possibly for Scoob, because apparently there was like a Scoob movie. We saw a reaction, a statement from some of the people involved in that, how sad they were because their film was pretty much almost done and for it to get scrapped to nothingness. But if they're going to seek a tax write-off, I don't think that's the term, but something tax-related, a write-off type of thing for this film means they cannot release it ever. They cannot put it on the streaming service. They cannot monetize this movie in any way, shape, or form if it's thrown into this tax category. So it just kind of seals the deal that this movie, unless somebody leaks it, unless somebody pulls a Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, which I own the bootleg of, quite proud of that because I love my Fantastic Four, all-time favorite Marvel team. But unless somebody, who has access to that MP4 throws it on, BitTorrent or something like that, we're never going to see it, which again sucks to high heaven that all these people put all this work into it and we're never going to see it. Again, it's like, why do they do this? They want to create a totally 180 sort of path going forth from what's come before. So they didn't like some of the decisions. They didn't like some of the movies that were being made. I'd seen on one podcast that I looked at, this guy just was going in on just restoring the prestige of the DC universe and the fact that they're tired of DC films being seen as second rate when it compares to Marvel movies. And it's like, you're the company that put out the Snyder stuff, which is, my money, my opinion, Snyder stuff was garbage. You put out Wonder Woman 1984, which was garbage upon garbage upon garbage, a steaming pile of garbage. What are you restoring? What just prestige are you restoring to the DC EU or the DC universe, the DC slate of movies? It's just, that logic is just, I don't know. And then you have conflicting reports. Some people, there's like reports saying that the test screen that they had was kind of like mixed results. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Then you have some people saying, and of course, I mean, what you hear or what you put out there can kind of justify your narrative, because you have some people saying that the screening was terrible. You have insiders allegedly saying that the movie was absolute crap and just totally irredeemable and unwatchable. And then like, yeah, all these talented people on it, how did they let this happen? If they're looking at it, they're there for the filming, they're looking at the dailies, they're kind of seeing it get put together, they're seeing how the sausage is made. If it's so bad, how do they let it be so bad? But then again, you have terrible movies that are put out, like Snyder movies, like Catwoman, or like The Spirit, or any other superhero bombs. Like, those got out there. So who knows? Nobody knows, because we don't know how good or how bad the movie was. We just have to go on the words of other people that, again, may have agendas or, people that may have agendas, which is why they're going to say what they're going to say. So who knows? We will never get to see for ourselves how good or how terrible or how middle of the road that movie is. And again, it's just such a shame for everybody involved that we don't get that chance. And it sucks. And it sets a weird precedent going forward, which again, this guy was trying to set a different precedent, separating himself from the previous regime, which he feels lost the company a ton of money because there's a ton of debt they're carrying. And he just wants to do something different going forward and just reset things. Apparently, but the whole prestige argument flies in the face of the fact that you have the Flash and you have Ezra Miller just off on a whole other thing. And it's like they're still sticking by that. Of course, insiders are saying that they're kind of mulling what to do with the movie and what to do with Ezra Miller going forward. That they'll kind of push the multiverse aspects of the Flash. They'll push other characters like Supergirl. They'll push Michael Keaton's Batman being in it. That they won't focus on the fact that, oh yeah, this movie happens to have Ezra Miller, and Ezra Miller did a bunch of stuff. They're gonna try to minimize that as best they can, because writing that off, that's like almost 2-3 times the cost of just writing off Batgirl. But again, you're talking about this argument that you want to restore the prestige of the DC universe, and it's like, and you have them really not even saying anything about Miller or their behavior it just, like, I don't know. It's just a weird spot to be in for this film, for everybody involved in it, and then just going forth. What precedent could set if, like, you could put blood, sweat, and tears, money into a project, and then dude's just like, nah, this trash, like, cut it, cancel this, write it off, and nobody will ever see it. It's just a weird place that we're in with this. It'll be interesting to kind of see in the next couple days, because right now everything's just raw, visceral. There are statements going out. There's politically correct stuff being said. Again, statements being made to absolve Leslie Grace of any blame. She's getting blamed anyway by just basement-dwelling dude bros who just hate, you know, we know what they hate, what they stand for. It's just maybe things will, I don't know how things will be in the coming days. If this project is 1,000% dead, but it looks that way. And it looks like we'll never, ever, ever, ever see it, which is disappointment. But it's just, it's where we're at. But I don't know. Anyway, those are my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. But you guys out there think, let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media, talk to me there, talk to me here. Till next time, let us geek.